Alright lads, welcome to my Fury Warrior commentary on Mythic Maiden Tomb of Sargeras. This is where I basically go over talent selection, trinket selection, and legendary selection, and generally how I approach the fight. Hopefully giving you some kind of like tips and tricks in generally where you can try and squeeze out extra DPS. Trinket selection, you should not be surprised at this point now to know that I'll be using Convergence of Fates and Moonglaves for the same reasons as the other kills. They're just your best in slot trinkets. Talent selection, I'll be going with Endless Rage because there's no ads to put War Machine off. Double Time because there's no need for the stuns, and double charge here is going to be nice. Avatar as it's your best single target, and this is all single target. Bounding Stride because there's going to be plenty of leaping around for maybe to catch orbs or just to move to the other side quickly. Frothing Berserker, Inner Rage, and Reckless Abandon. So really just your single target talents. Legendary selection, I'm going for the Legendary Helm and the legs. I've chosen not to use the ring here because there's no real meaningful execute phase, and really you want to be maximizing your damage in the windows where you have the the damage buff from the stacking orbs. So that involves trying to do as much as you can in the battlecry windows, which means you really want more rage to get more rampages and raging blows off with minimal furious slash usage. So on pull here, we're going to be using Old War as a pre-pot as it's single target, and we're actually going to hold Glaives and Avatar because we want to use those bigger cooldowns when we get round when we've got the stacked damage buff from the orbs. So it's just going to be Battlecry and Odin's Fury to begin with, and I'm making sure to get round into the marked side there and avoiding that fell orb there. The reason why we can use Battlecry and Odin's Fury on pull is because I know it's going to be back off cooldown by the time we get round to the next phase. So you see I'll just keep whipping my camera around to make sure that I'm checking for any light orbs that spawn at the back, as we'll need to go and soak them, and you're going to get the damage buff from soaking the orbs, so it's well worth going out to get it. And I'm also, now the battle cry is off cooldown, I'm going to be holding it as I explained earlier because I want it for once we've got round the other side, which is now. So as soon as the sun stuns in, you can use leap to get all the way across, and my job here is always going to be to soak the inner lane, but if there's no yellow orb to soak on the inner lane, I'm going to nip across to the middle lane and try and soak one there to keep getting my damage buff, to the stacking damage buff going. Trying to hit the boss when I can, but when you soak in the inner lane, it's a bit hard. So as soon as those drop, I'm going to drop my glaives, drop my cooldowns, take my second pot with Bloodlust, and really just try and go ham with the boss. I've got 7 stacks, which isn't too bad, but as melee, you can get way closer to 8, 9, 10, like fairly consistently, which is nice. So just keeping that solid single target rotation going, and keeping an eye out for the orbs to avoid them, as to not proc any bombs on myself or the raid. Now at this point, it's literally just a case of looking around the room, keeping, again, yeah, there we go, looking around the room, making sure to keep uptime on the boss, and generally staying out of anything I shouldn't be getting hit by. So that's the fell orbs and the swells on the ground. You don't want to be taking extra swells, getting the bomb, and having to go down the pit when you don't have to. They do have quite a delayed kind of impact timer, so if you get loads lined up at once, you can kind of hesitantly stay in one briefly, instead of running completely out of melee range of the boss to avoid. It's kind of risky, but once you've pulled a few times, you get a feel for how you can do it. We've actually had very few orbs spawn on our side, so which is it's not necessarily unfortunate, it's just bad luck. It means we haven't got any extra damage buff. So I've got the bomb here, so I'm going to wait, and then jump in with my really handy weak aura there. But unfortunately, it's blown me off in a really weird direction, so I'm going to quickly use leap to try and get round to the boss as soon as possible before phase transition. If you get caught too far away from the boss when the stun comes in, you get stunned for an exceptionally long time, and you risk then getting bombs. So we're going to move back around, and again, I'm going to be collecting the inner lane, which is the yellow orbs, so nipping into the inner lane to collect the orbs when I can. And then if there's nothing in the left-hand lane, I will nip into the middle lane and grab the buff from there instead. So again, I've held cooldowns. I'm just going to drop them all as soon as we got the damage buff. Got 8 that time, which isn't too bad. I think I missed one actually from the middle lane I could have collected, which would have given me 9, but that's not the end of the world. I didn't go over it on the last phase, but you can afford to use Battle Cry. I think it's once it's back off cooldown. After dropping your cooldowns into the shield with the damage buff, it should come off quite quickly. Again, avoiding that fell orb. And you can afford to use it once, and then you'll need to hold Battle Cry for when you get round to the other side. There's an orb there, so I'm going to run out and grab that, making sure to avoid the swells, get that damage buff, charge back in, and just keep damage going. So I've got Battle Cry. So I've got a nice 5% extra damage during the Battle Cry, which is quite nice. Sometimes you can get like 2 stacks and it lines up quite well and you can get some really good damage. So we're hitting execute phase now. So I'm going to start getting those Juggernaut stacks. See what I mean about you can kind of stay in the swells a little bit longer than, you don't have to move out of them immediately. I don't think I've actually had to change sides once here, which is quite fortunate. Now Battle Cry's come off cooldown here, and I think I put myself in 2 minds whether to use it or not. I end up using it in the end because I'm pretty confident that we're going to get another phase of the orb soaking. So I know that I can use Battle Cry here, and then it will be back off by the time we get around to the other side. And if we happen to kill it, then I've lost Avatar. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna take another phase, just getting that light orb from the other side quickly, which is a bit cheeky, but it was safe to do so. So again, after the stun, leaping across. Now I'm gonna make more of an effort to obviously keep Juggernaut stacks going because we're gonna get some absolutely massive damage here. If we can get good stacks, not let any of our orbs go through, keep that Juggernaut rolling. And then basically drop everything into the boss, hopefully with 8 or more stacks. So I've actually got 9 there, which is really nice. So popping cooldowns, bloodthirsting, and then just going to spam execute, and you see me absolutely rocket up the meters here. I think I was on about 1.6, and then with this really nice execute phase, I'm up to 1.8, which is a solid pull. So hope you enjoyed that. With Maiden, there aren't really too many ways you can min-max. It's more so about just getting lucky with how many orbs spawn near you that you can collect and get good stacks. And then obviously making use of those stacks with good CD usage, making sure you don't ever get to a shield phase without at least Battle Cry and Glaives and Avatar. Making sure to use a Battle Cry in between shield phases, so you don't waste the value of convergence by wasting the procs, and just generally collecting the right orbs, staying in the right places, not blowing anyone up, that sort of thing. So you can follow me on Twitch on the Coburn_25 if you want to see any of my live streams in EU time zone. But I will see you on the next one, hopefully for an Avatar. Cheers.